Hi guys, hope you had a great week and welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner, round, what are we at? Round 7. There's a couple of things that I just wanted to talk about very briefly. Obviously on Sunday we came up against Paran that we played some 5 weeks ago, and if you like many of us, it was quite significant the difference between where we were 5 weeks ago as a team and from a level of skill and working as a team to where they are or where they were on Sunday. I said to the kids that 80% of the game was actually played in our forward half, to the point where a couple of guys who were playing in the back line were suggesting that they were getting a little bored, which it's not necessarily great for them that they're getting bored. However, it's good for the team that we can actually see ourselves evolving, which is great. And also, I suppose, what does ring true, the importance of continuing rotating our children throughout the field. Speaking of rotations, you're probably already aware that we don't rotate the children at the moment each quarter. Basically, our kids play week per week. They play 2 quarters in the middle, 2 quarters in the forward, 2 quarters in the back, and the centres stay relatively the same, minus a couple of interchanges that we need to do to make sure the kids get a good spread of time throughout the whole field. We were doing the rotations quarter to quarter, but what I believe is that it's a little bit harder to teach them structure, and some of the kids were actually commenting that they were getting a little lost, and some of the parents too also, and I think it really does help with creating a sense of, I suppose, awareness of where they're at, each of the different zones, and I really do think it's working quite well. So 2 quarters that they play forward, 2 quarters they play back, and they get an opportunity every third week to play in the centre for the whole game, minus a couple of interchanges that we may need to do. The second thing, obviously, I just wanted to point out Oliver Fueling and the importance of consistent and positive feedback. Last week with Oliver, I made a conscious choice to consistently reinforce all the things that he's doing well, for no other reason other than that's what I wanted to do. And it's really interesting, isn't it, just how much we see shifts in behaviour, and how, like, if you remember, if you saw it on the weekend, just how intense he was for the ball and wanting to go for the ball, and he's carrying himself very, very well at training as well. So that, just for me, just the constant, I suppose, message from all the assistants and from all the parents that we always acknowledge what the child is doing well first, and what they obviously can be doing differently moving forward. We never focus on the negative. The third thing, guys, was something that came up during the Auskick, the coaches meeting at the footy club on Tuesday night, and it probably is important to talk about, was the fact that 99% of our children are doing Auskick, including Zach, and what that invariably potentially may create is a gap in skill. We want our children, it's quite challenging at times, but we want the kids to be able to touch the football at least 200 times per training session. That's including warm-ups and all sorts of drills. So it's obviously important that we do spend a lot of time with the balls. However, it's sometimes harder at older age groups, and the fact that they're not, I personally believe that some of the kids aren't getting enough repetition in with their basic skills, especially with kicking. I think kicking is the most important thing in football, and it's something that's been missed out because a lot of our kids aren't doing Auskick, so they aren't learning a lot of the basics through repetition. They're hearing it from me, they're hearing it from Tim, John, Adam, Jeff, maybe some of the parents, maybe some of you guys, but I think if they aren't doing Auskick, that they need to be getting out and they need to be kicking. And if you don't understand the key fundamentals of the drop punt or even the drop kick and some progressions, make sure you come in and speak to us. It's only been 3 years since they had under 8s, so a lot of kids at their age right now would be still doing Auskick. I think it's the 3rd or 2nd year. So there has been an issue that has been coming up with the footy club, and not only the footy club, but the league itself, and that's it sort of rings true around the limitations of our child's development. A lot of it's to do with skill, and even doing sort of game sense drills and structure and all that sort of stuff, game plans, if you like. That's obviously going to be limited to their ability to be able to kick, mainly to kick, to be honest. So just some sort of food for thought on that one. And lastly, obviously we want to consistently create a strong connect between the juniors and the seniors. And I do know that a lot of our kids are playing other sport. A lot of our kids are in drama, dance classes, and all that sort of stuff throughout the week. But has been strongly recommended by Stephen Nash that we do encourage, especially over the last, I think we've got maybe 3 or 4 home games at Oak Street, that we do encourage to get our team down to the senior footy ground, down to the footy ground on Saturday. So check out the calendar, check out the schedules, check out the fixture, and see when they're playing at home. And let's maybe together make a conscious effort. I am obviously conscious of time and how much limited time we have at times. So they're the 4 main things. This week I think we're heading out to McKinnon. I think it's 8:45 start. You've got all the details of team stuff. Naturally, I look forward to seeing you guys all on Sunday. Let's hope it's not too wet, but I do believe that our boys and girls play well in the wet. And look forward to having a lot of fun. If there's any questions, make sure you shoot me an email or give me a buzz, and I'll see you Sunday. Thanks, guys. Take care.